Apple has always been a company that thrives on pushing limits. For years, each iPhone release has brought some new twist, whether it was a better chip, a new kind of camera setup, or even small refinements that slowly shaped the smartphone industry. But now, with the iPhone 17 lineup, Apple seems to have reached a turning point. This is not just another yearly refresh. It feels more like Apple finally daring to do something that many thought was impossible, redesigning the iPhone experience from the ground up while keeping it practical, powerful, and more futuristic than ever. From the start, all reports and leaks pointed towards something massive. Tech insiders didn't just call this a regular upgrade. Instead, they referred to it as the biggest refresh in years. And when we take a closer look at what's being introduced, it becomes clear why people are using that kind of language. The highlight, without a doubt, is the iPhone 17 Pro Max. But this story cannot be told without looking at the broader lineup. Apple didn't just polish one model this year. It completely redefined the strategy with new designs, new hardware directions, and even a brand new ultra-thin edition that's unlike anything we've seen before. Let's start with the most eye-catching part of the story, the iPhone 17 Air. This phone instantly got people talking because of one single number, 5.5 millimeters. That's the thickness of the device. To put it in perspective, that makes it one of the thinnest smartphones ever made, not just in Apple's history, but across the entire industry. While most companies are adding bulk in the name of bigger batteries and heavier camera systems, Apple seems to have gone in the opposite direction. The result is a device that feels ultralight, almost like holding a thin slab of polished glass and metal that barely takes up space in your hand. Now, going ultra-thin usually comes with compromises. And in this case, the trade-off is visible in the battery size. The iPhone 17 Air reportedly comes with just 2,900 milliamp hours. By modern standards, that's quite small. But here's where Apple's strategy makes sense. This phone isn't trying to be a power monster. Instead, it's designed for efficiency. Everything about it, from the way the chip processes tasks to how the display consumes power, has been fine-tuned to squeeze the most out of that smaller battery. Apple has proven before that hardware optimization plus smart software can make a small battery last much longer than expected, and it looks like they're doubling down on that philosophy here. Another surprising choice is the camera setup. Instead of going for multiple lenses, the iPhone 17 Air keeps it minimal with a single 48-megapixel rear camera. That's right, just one. But don't mistake that for weakness. Apple is betting heavily on computational photography here. With their advanced image processing and AI-driven algorithms, a single powerful lens can achieve results that rival, or even surpass, phones with multiple sensors. This also keeps the design clean and makes the phone even slimmer, since Apple doesn't need to pack in extra camera modules. The front camera also gets a boost. The standard iPhone 17 is expected to ship with a 24-megapixel selfie camera, which is a major jump compared to previous generations. This upgrade alone signals how Apple sees the future of mobile content creation. Selfies, video calls, and social media videos are a huge part of everyday phone use now, and Apple wants to deliver sharper detail, better low-light performance, and more natural color for that front-facing experience. Moving beyond the Air model, the standard iPhone 17 is also getting bigger. Reports suggest it will grow to 6.3 inches, which places it closer to the size of the Pro models. The bezels are thinner than ever, just 0.75 millimeters. That's practically invisible when you look at it, creating a true edge-to-edge display. Apple has been slowly chasing that all-screen, no-borders dream for years, and this feels like another major step in that direction. Speaking of displays, we finally get what many users have been begging Apple for, 120Hz promotion on more models. Not only that, but Apple is adding an always-on display as well. This feature was previously reserved for the Pro models, but now it's trickling down, giving even the standard iPhone 17 an advantage. A faster refresh rate and an always-on experience mean the phone feels smoother, more modern, and much MO, realigned with the premium Android devices that already offer these features. The A19 chip, built on TSMC's 3-nanometer Gen 3 process, powers these devices. This is not just a slight bump in speed. It's a whole new generation of efficiency and performance. Apple is pairing it with 8 gigabytes of RAM in the standard models and up to 24 gigabytes in the Pro versions. That's a staggering number when you think about iPhones traditionally being able to outperform Android phones with less RAM. With this kind of upgrade, the iPhone 17 lineup is essentially future-proof for years of demanding apps, games, and software updates. Charging speeds are another area where Apple is finally catching up. For years, iPhones lagged behind when it came to how fast they could recharge. But now we're talking about 35-watt wired charging and up to 25 watts on MagSafe. This means users won't have to wait nearly as long to get their devices back to 100%. Combine that with the efficiency of the A19 chip and optimized batteries, and you're looking at a phone that not only lasts long, but also gets back up to full power quickly. The Pro and Pro Max models deserve their own spotlight. For starters, Apple is said to be switching from stainless steel to an aluminum frame. This is a strategic move. Aluminum is lighter than steel, and when combined with the thinner bezels and new design, it helps make the Pro phones easier to handle despite their large displays. But that's not the only design change. The camera layout is being reimagined. Instead of the familiar triangular setup, reports suggest a horizontal camera bar. This gives the phone a fresh look, one that stands out instantly compared to older models. Inside that bar, we're getting not just 1 or 2 upgrades, but an entire overhaul. All 3 cameras on the Pro and Pro Max are expected to feature 48-megapixel sensors. On top of that, the Pro Max model is rumored to get a periscope tetraprism lens for enhanced zoom. This means significantly better optical zoom performance, bringing iPhone photography to new professional heights. Whether you're capturing landscapes, portraits, or distant details, the Pro Max is shaping up to deliver results that were once only possible with dedicated cameras. But here's where things get even more exciting. The tracking system powered by advanced AI. Apple is reportedly building an object recognition and motion detection framework directly into the camera pipeline. Think of it like giving your phone the ability to not only capture what it sees, but also understand it in real time. This system can identify objects, track movement, and adjust focus with incredible speed and accuracy. It's built on deep learning models trained on millions of images, allowing the iPhone to recognize patterns instantly. For video creators, this could be a game changer. It means smoother tracking shots, better autofocus, and more intelligent adjustments without needing extra hardware. The result of all these changes is a camera system that can shoot at up to 8K resolution, capture more light, and process images faster than ever before. Apple is not just giving you more megapixels. It's giving you smarter tools that work behind the scenes to make sure every shot looks professional. And we can't ignore the battery on the Pro Max. Reports suggest a massive 5,000 milliamp capacity, targeting up to 40 hours of video playback. That number is staggering. For years, iPhones have been known to perform well on smaller batteries thanks to efficiency. But this time, Apple seems to be going all in on both sides. A bigger physical battery plus smarter energy management. All of this is tied together by Apple's careful balance of design and performance. The bezels are thinner, the materials are lighter, the displays are brighter, up to 30% more brightness, and yet the phones still manage to pack in more power than ever before. Now, the big question everyone is asking, what about the price? As of now, nothing is officially confirmed, but reports suggest the standard iPhone 17 will start around $799. Naturally, the Pro and Pro Max models will climb higher, likely crossing the $1,200 range. While expensive, Apple seems confident that the design changes and power upgrades justify the cost. And for many, owning the most advanced iPhone yet is always worth a premium. So, where does all of this leave us? The first half of the iPhone 17 story is already a revolution. We're seeing the thinnest iPhone ever, new camera, strategies, breakthrough AI tracking, faster charging, bigger batteries, and displays that finally match or even surpass expectations. Apple didn't just refine the iPhone, they reimagined it. This is the foundation. This is the bold statement. But this is only the beginning. Apple has always carried a certain weight in the tech world. Whenever the company announces a new product, the world listens. Some years, the upgrades are small, and fans debate whether it's worth switching. Other years, the changes are more obvious, but they still feel like an evolution rather than a revolution. But this year, with the arrival of the iPhone 17 lineup, everything feels different. Analysts, insiders, and fans are all pointing to the same conclusion. Apple has just delivered the most dramatic redesign in years, maybe even since the original iPhone. At the center of this excitement is the iPhone 17 Pro Max, a phone that represents the very peak of Apple's vision. But before we dive into that flagship, we need to understand the bigger picture. Apple didn't just create one standout model. Instead, it reshaped the entire iPhone family, offering a mix of ultra-thin design, power-packed performance, and smarter features that make each device feel special in its own way. Let's begin with the most surprising new member of the family, the iPhone 17 Air. This model instantly grabbed headlines for one reason: its unbelievably slim body, just 5.5 millimeters thick. To put that in perspective, the iPhone 14 Pro was 7.85 millimeters, and even the iPhone 15 Pro, known for being lighter and more refined, still came in at 8.25 millimeters. Apple has shaved off an incredible amount of thickness here. Holding in your hand, it would almost feel like a slice of polished glass and metal, so thin that it barely registers in your pocket. But such thinness doesn't come without trade-offs. Apple had to make choices, and one of the biggest compromises shows up in the battery. The iPhone 17 Air carries a 2,900 milliamp hour battery. On paper, that number looks tiny compared to the 4,000, 5,000, or even 6,000 milliamp batteries that we see in competing Android phones. But Apple has always played a different game. They don't rely on sheer numbers. They rely on efficiency. The new A19 Pro chip, built on TSMC's 3nm Gen 3 process, is a marvel of efficiency. It squeezes more performance out of every watt of power. Combined with Apple's tightly integrated software, the iPhone 17 Air can stretch that 2,900 milliamp battery far longer than you'd expect. It's not designed for people who need endless hours of gaming or heavy video editing on the go. Instead, it's meant for users who value a lightweight, elegant phone that still lasts through a normal day of use without constantly searching for a charger. Now let's talk cameras. Apple shocked people here by giving the Air just one rear camera. A 48-megapixel sensor, powerful but alone. For years, the trend has been more cameras, wide, ultra-wide, telephoto, even macro lenses. But Apple is rewriting the script. By focusing on one high-quality sensor and combining it with advanced computational photography, the Air can deliver results that rival multi-lens setups. This keeps the phone's back clean and minimal. And more importantly, it proves a bold point. Sometimes less really is more. On the front, the improvements continue. The standard iPhone 17 and the Air both benefit from a 24-megapixel selfie camera. That's a significant jump over older iPhones, with a front-facing cameras often felt like an afterthought. Today, front cameras are more important than ever. People don't just snap the occasional selfie anymore. They record TikToks, shoot Instagram Reels, live stream to their followers, and spend hours on FaceTime or Zoom. Apple's move to a sharper, higher-quality front sensor shows that they're listening to modern users. The display is another major leap forward. The iPhone 17 grows to 6.3 inches, which might not sound like a huge change, but makes a real difference when paired with bezels that measure just 0.75 millimeters. That's so thin it almost disappears. It brings Apple closer than ever to the dream of an all-screen phone, a device where the display truly stretches from edge to edge uninterrupted. Watching videos, browsing photos, or just scrolling through apps on this kind of screen feels immersive in a way that older phones can't match. And for the first time, we see 120 Hz ProMotion in an OW. Ways-on display spreading beyond the Pro models. This is a big deal. For years, Apple fans complained that features common in Android phones, like high refresh rates, were locked behind Apple's most expensive devices. With the iPhone 17, that wall finally comes down. The smoother scrolling, the faster response, and the ability to glance at important info without waking the phone. All of that is now available to more users, making the standard iPhone feel more premium than ever before. Under the hood, the new A19 chip powers everything. Apple chips are already considered the best in the smartphone industry, often years ahead of competitors. The A19 takes things even further. Built with a cutting-edge process, it's faster, more efficient, and capable of handling workloads that would challenge even some laptops. Paired with 8 gigabytes of RAM in the standard models and up to 24 gigabytes in the Pro line, the iPhone 17 lineup is not just ready for today's apps. It's prepared for the next 5 to 7 years of software advancements. From AI-powered editing tools to console-level games, this hardware won't break a sweat. And finally, charging speeds. For years, iPhone charging has been a weak point. Apple's phones charge slower than Android competitors, sometimes taking hours to refill. That gap is finally closing. With support for 35-watt wired charging and up to 25 watts via MagSafe, the iPhone 17 charges much faster than before. It's not the fastest in the industry, but it's a huge improvement for Apple users. Plug in for 15 minutes, and you'll get enough juice to carry you through most of the day. That's a level of convenience that people will notice immediately. Now let's shift the spotlight to the Pro and Pro Max models, where Apple really shows its boldness. First, the materials. For years, Pro iPhones used stainless steel. It was shiny, durable, and premium, but it was also heavy. With the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, Apple switches to an aluminum frame. Lighter, sleeker, and still strong enough for daily use. This choice makes the Pro models easier to hold for long periods, a welcome change for phones that already stretch past 6 inches in screen size. The camera design also gets a major shakeup. Instead of the familiar triangular arrangement that Apple has used for years, the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max introduce a horizontal camera bar. This design is not just aesthetic. It also gives Apple more room to pack in advanced hardware. All 3 cameras are upgraded to 48 megapixels, ensuring consistent quality across wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto shots. And for the Pro Max, Apple adds something extra, a periscope tetraprism lens. This periscope lens allows for far better optical zoom than before. On older iPhones, zooming in too far meant sacrificing clarity. With the tetraprism design, light is bent multiple times within the lens, creating a longer focal length without making the camera bump ridiculously thick. The result is crisp, detailed zoom shots, even at distances that used to blur into pixelated mush. For photography lovers, this could be the single biggest reason to upgrade. But hardware is only half the story. Apple is pairing these cameras with a new AI-powered tracking system. This isn't just autofocus, it's intelligent recognition. Using deep learning trained on millions of images, the system can detect objects in real time, follow them as they move, and adjust the focus and exposure instantly. Imagine recording your kid playing soccer or filming your pet running across the yard. The iPhone 17 Pro Max won't lose focus. It will track every move, keeping the subject sharp and clear. For creators, this technology is a dream come true. And if that wasn't enough, the cameras can now shoot in 8K resolution. That's 4 times sharper than 4K and a massive leap for mobile video. Pair it with Apple's editing tools, and you're carrying a pocket-sized cinema rig. Whether you're a professional filmmaker or just someone who loves capturing memories, the possibilities here are endless. Battery life on the Pro Max also pushes limits. With a 5,000 milliamp capacity, it promises up to 40 hours of video playback. That's almost 2 full days of heavy use on a single charge. It's the kind of endurance that lets you travel, work, and play without constantly hunting for an outlet. Combined with faster charging, the Pro Max becomes not just powerful, but also reliable in a way that few phones can match. Brightness also gets a boost, up to 30% more than before. That means the screen stays visible even under harsh sunlight. Whether you're reading messages at the beach or reviewing photos during a hike, the display won't wash out. It's another small but meaningful upgrade that adds to the everyday experience. All of this leads to one final question. How much will it cost? While nothing is official yet, rumors point to the standard iPhone 17 starting at $799, with Pro and Pro Max models going well over $1,200. Expensive, yes, but Apple knows its audience. For many users, owning the latest iPhone isn't just about having a phone. It's about having the best of the best, a device that feels futuristic today and will still feel powerful years from now. So when we step back and look at the iPhone 17 lineup, the picture becomes clear. This is not just another iPhone release. It's a statement, a declaration that Apple is still the leader in design, still the pioneer in performance, and still willing to take bold risks. From the ultra-thin Air to the zoom-capable Pro Max to the AI-powered camera systems, Apple is redefining what a smartphone can be. And the most exciting part? This is only the first half of the story.